At first I was going to make this like an hour long video where I just cleaned up my room, did a bunch of stuff, and then talked about whatever came to my mind. But that kind of made me think about the idea of starting over, having a fresh start. And I think one of the most important things that you can learn in life is the concept of having a fresh start. There's a concept called entropy, okay? They give a whole lot of definitions for it, but the most common one that you hear just colloquially is that entropy is chaos, and entropy is the principle that all things kind of eventually descend into chaos. And in life, that is just true. In the universe, we see that happening, but in our own lives, entropy exists, and that's the chaos that builds up, the trash, the junk that just accumulates over time. And at some points, this junk feels overwhelming, it feels consuming, and it feels like you can't escape from it. But one thing that's great about us is that we always fight back against the inevitability of entropy. And this extrapolates out into even your path in your life. Sometimes you're on a certain road in life, and you look at where you are, you look at all the stuff that you have, and you're like, how the hell did it get to this point? How has it gotten to this point where I've let so many things spiral out of control, and I am basically just nothing? I'm a bug. I'm on the ground. I'm rolling around. I've got nothing. Now listen, it's exactly like they say, the first step to changing is recognition of your current state of affairs. And then the second step is realizing that you actually can change things. You're not stuck in the conditions that you are in right now. You can always just get up, turn around, and change. You can just stop it all. If you're in a job that you hate right now, you can literally stop going to that job. That is possible. You might say, oh, well, then I won't be able to afford rent, or like, oh, I can't pay the bills, or like, how will I get the food next week? Those are genuine concerns that are very true, and you should probably have an answer to them before you go and quit your job. However, the point still stands. You can go and you can just quit your goddamn job. You can do that. That is very possible. If you're in school right now and you don't want to be in school, you can just drop out. That is entirely possible. That is entirely up to you. If you are living with your parents right now, you can go and run away. These are things that you can do. Now, the consequences of it, you will also have to face. There's something that, there's this YouTuber online. He's a repairman. He's called Louis Rossman. And I watched one of his videos and it truly changed. It's one of those videos that really did change my perspective, all right? In the comments, I was going, wow, makes you think, huh? Thinking emoji. And it was that exact same idea. Now, he was tackling it more from a procrastination perspective, trying to explain why we procrastinate. And he offered up a very, I think, reasonable answer to the question of why do we procrastinate. And his big theory was that the reason why we procrastinate is because we're doing things that we don't want to do inherently. And one of the biggest things about that is that we don't have to do things that we don't want to do in life. We are not peons subject to the whims of the world. We have autonomy, we have free will to some extent, and we have the ability to just stop doing what we don't want to do. And he came up with this example of, we got an internship at like a really cool audio engineering studio that was like the top of the game, and then he eventually realized, like, I'm not gonna go anywhere with this. So he just left an internship that people would die for. Okay, that's like you tell your friends you got into BlackRock, or what's another one of those companies that people always love the internships at? Something Lewis, something with an L, Deloitte. You got an internship at Deloitte and then you just drop it on your first day there. And people are like, why the hell did you do that? You're really stupid for doing that. Whatever. You'll have to live with the consequences, but the point is that you can just do that. So if you're in a situation in life where you're like, I've just accumulated so much junk and garbage and things are not going the way I want to go, you can just hit the drawing board and start it all anew. That is extremely possible, and that is one of the greatest blessings in life, okay? Sometimes for you gamers out there, sometimes you play a video game and you put all your skill points in one tree and you're like, oh no, I don't actually want to play this way anymore. I leveled up all of my one-handed swordsman and I actually want to be a stealth thief archer. Boo-hoo, you can't change back the skill points. But the thing with life is that you can't really change the skill points either. However, those skill points aren't exactly localized in just one area. Those skill points branch out and they kind of bleed into all areas of life. So as much as you might think like, oh, I put all my eggs in this basket of wanting to become a chemical engineer, I can't drop it now because if I drop it, then I've just ruined. That's not true, okay? All those skills that you learned in trying to become a chemical engineer actually branch out to all other forms and paths in your life. So don't think that you're stuck on one train, on one railroad, going down one direction, okay? You have a lot of opportunities at your disposal, and you can take advantage of it, all right? It's one of the great things about being a human. One of the great things about living in this world is that you can truly do whatever you want to do. The only thing is that you're going to have to pay the consequences for it, and you're going to have to realize that some of that time that you had is now gone. However, would you rather waste 5 years doing something that you don't want to do to then spend 5 years working towards something you do want to do, or waste 20 years of your life doing something that you don't want to do and then dying? Which one? Pick one, dude. You can't have none of them. It's either one or the other. It's an ultimatum here, all right? Anyways, I'm going to go clean my room. Enjoy that.